Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, a grant will help local seniors outside recreation, lifetime Wildcat coach and teachers remembered, and a women's club is looking for scholarship giveaways.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. The Wildcat community lost one of their leaders to cancer last week. Gale Tucker, an OHS graduate, taught and coached in Oxford for 40 years before retiring last June. She will be fondly remembered by students and colleagues alike. A Facebook post from Oxford Community Schools says words cannot describe how deeply her loss will be felt across our district. She will be greatly missed. A full story and remembrance can be found in this week's edition of the Oxford Leader.
Last week, the Oxford Township staff mailed out nearly 2,000 absentee voter ballots for the March 10th presidential primary. Requests to have an absentee voter ballot mailed to you must be received by your clerk no later than 5 p.m. the Friday before the election, which is March 6th. You have until 8 p.m. on Election Day to complete the ballot and return it to the clerk's office. Your ballot will not be counted unless your signature is on the return envelope and matches your signature on file.
As of last month, the North Oakland Transportation Authority crew has a new home in Oxford. NODA began looking for a new place to live early last year when the former school bus garage they were leasing from Lake Orient School District was scheduled to be demolished. They soon found their home in the village of Oxford, including renovations. The cost to NODA was $1.1 million. NODA has moved 6 times since its inception in 2001, but this is the first time they have owned the space. They are only using half of the building, so they will have room to grow if needed. In the meantime, they are leasing the rest of the space to pet enclosure and fencing company called PYP Ventures.
At the last Township of Oxford meeting, Board of Trustee officials voted 7-0 to approve a license agreement between the Township and New Singular Wireless, PCS LLC. Another wireless carrier will be installing equipment to co-locate on the existing tower at Seymour Lake Park. AT&T will soon also join Verizon's wireless.
To help promote the 2020 U.S. Census, local kiddos are invited to participate in the coloring contest with prizes, which are sure to help motivate the artists to stay in the lines. The contest is open to children in kindergarten through the 5th grade who live either in Oxford Township, the village of Oxford, or attend one of the 5 elementary schools in the Oxford School District. Since there is a significant age gap between those just entering elementary school and those getting ready to leave, the township leveled the playing field by creating 3 different age categories. Those wishing to participate in the coloring contest can do so by printing off an entry form and coloring sheet at the township's website, oxfordtownship.net, or you can pick them up at the township offices. They are also available at Funky Monkey Toys and Oxford 7 Theater. Entries must be submitted, however, by 5 p.m. on Friday, February 28th in order to be considered.
In a 7-0 vote, Oxford Township trustees awarded over $9,000 in 2019 Community Development Block Grant funds to the Oxford Orient Fish to provide emergency services to residents in need. Since 1973, Fish has been providing free groceries to families, individuals, and senior citizens who need help because they're living on low or fixed incomes or have fallen on hard times due to the unemployment, illnesses, or other personal crises. For more information about Fish's Pantry, please visit www.oxfordorientfish.org or call 248-628-3933.
The Oxford Senior Center, located at Seymour Lake Township Park, will soon see some additions to its outdoor space, thanks to grant provided by the Elmont-based County Community Foundation. Oxford Township received word last month that the Parks and Recreation Department was awarded $5,000 of the over $10,000 grant proposal submitted in December by Communications and Grants Manager C.J. Carnacchio. The Senior Center, which opened in May 2019, hosts approximately 15 different programs a month, as well as a travel program. While items have been purchased or donated to be used inside the Senior Center, Dawn Medici and Parks and Recreation Director Ron Davis thought it was time to focus on the outside. While the grant awarded was for only half of the amount they were initially seeking, Carnacchio is happy with the outcome and said everyone else should be excited as well.
Also at the Oxford Township Board meeting, Treasurer Joe Ferrari reported 2019 was one of the best years for the township in terms of investment income. Between all of its various funds, the township's investment earned over $300,000 in interest last year. Anyone with questions regarding the Oxford Township's investments or interest income is encouraged to call the Treasurer Joe Ferrari at 248-628-9787, extension 105, between Monday through Friday.
With Valentine's last week, it's all about love. Boulevard Boutique will host its third annual Share the Love fashion show to benefit Love in the Name of Christ of North Oakland County on February 19th at Boulder Point Golf Club. 10 models who are frequent customers of the downtown Oxfords and the Boulevard Boutique will show off the consignment shops, fashions, and accessories. Oxford celebrities such as Police Chief Mike Sowell, firefighter Cody Roop, and former NFL fullback and Oxford's new football coach, Zach Line, will serve as gentlemen escorts to the lady models. Tickets are $40 per person, or $360 for the table of 10. And you can purchase at the Love Inc. of NOC.org or at the Boulevard Boutique.
The Oxford Women's Club announced their 2020 scholarship program for graduating Oxford students. Winners will be awarded a minimum of $1,000 each to students living within the Oxford School District or attending the Oxford School area. Students need a GPA of 2 to 4 point on the scale to be eligible. Special education students are encouraged to apply if they are planning to pursue education after graduation from high school. The scholarship application form can be obtained at the Oxford High School Counseling Department at the club's website, oxfordwomensclub.com. Applications are due to the Oxford High School Counseling Department by Thursday, March 19th.
You know, the Women's Club, that's a great organization. I think they do this every year too, for kids, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. My son was able to get one of those scholarships, and it's March 19th at the oxfordwomensclub.com. I kind of stumbled over that, but yeah, that's fabulous how many organizations in this community do that for kids. $1,000 can certainly help them with their books or their laptop or whatever else they're
And if
need.
there's other scholarships also, and do check with your counselor at the school and
the
see what's
Rotary
available.
Club, I think, does a scholarship.
They do.
It's amazing what people do for the kids in this community.
Yes, so check it out.
Yeah.
It's out there.
And I hope you had a good Valentine's Day.
Yeah, same here.
That's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories or others, you can pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or you can catch us on our website at occtv.org, on YouTube, and of course our regular cable channel, Spectrum 191 and AT&T Channel 99.
Coming up soon, OCTV's very own Cody Wright with school sports and school news with River Tuck. And you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors. Thanks for watching.
Hello Oxford parents and students, and welcome back to another edition of School News right here on OCTV. My name is River Tuck and I hope you are ready for 5 minutes of the latest school news out of our local Oxford area schools. To no one's surprise, our students continue to make headlines and give me more and more to talk about each week. So our first story has got to be one of those headlines. We have some outstandingly creative, generous, and brave students in our district. They do a lot to give back to the community and inspire one another to do more. One such student is Alex Van Haren. Alex's story starts in 2015 when he saw a need right on the playground.
This started when I was in 3rd grade. I believe I came up with the idea. There was kids out on the playground during wintertime that did not have the proper clothing, and I felt really bad. So that day I went home, told my mom we need to work the net. She laughed. I told her why, and then we started.
Yes, and I heard that you started learning how to knit from a YouTube video?
Yeah.
Alex has come a long way since the conception of Scarves for Cozy Kids. He and his supporters have given over 7,500 hats, gloves, and scarves to date. It's no surprise that Alex has won a ton of awards and won Outstanding State Award very recently. Now I just want to talk about the most recent news, the 2020 Prudential Spirit of the Community Award.
Oh.
What does that feel like to you to be honored like that? If the people don't know, you're one of two. You're one of two who were picked for Michigan.
I was the one who was picked for middle school. There was one other for high school, and we are 2 out of 102 people going to Washington D.C. to get honored and hopefully be chosen for the 10 who are getting gold.
Yeah.
I generally did not expect that because I had been a distinguished finalist last year. Did not think I would go up
in the rankings to get official. So you'll be heading. I'd like to send a huge thank you to Alex and his mother for inviting me over to talk. And if you'd like to see the whole conversation with Alex, tune into the next episode of Schooling Around right here on OCTV, as well as on our YouTube and Facebook pages. We love any story of community involvement here at OCTV. And in any community, there is a central gathering place that brings everyone together under one roof. Of course, for 95 years, that has been the Oxford Public Library. The OPL serves students and adults alike by offering that gathering place and going above and beyond to offer community services that are vital. We recently got to celebrate 95 years of OPL and no one could be happier. It is an important time for the library, full of some amazing changes as we look towards 5 more years until 100 years of OPL. To celebrate, OPL held a fireside chat that I was able to attend. Library Director and CEO Brian Cloutier spoke at length about the incredible history of the library and all of the many names that deserve thanks for what it has become today.
But just for sake of those of you who might not know, I'm Brian Cloutier. I have the honor and privilege of being the Director of the Oxford Public Library, and I've served in this capacity since 2007. I have to say that in the 95 years that the Oxford Library has served this community, I'm only the 5th head librarian to serve in this capacity. So that says a lot about this institution, about this community, and the people who live here. To only have 5 head librarians is quite a remarkable accomplishment for this community.
As I mentioned before, the library is looking to grow its public services. The library has already achieved great new exhibits like the one on display now, but they won't be slowing down. More exciting new features are to come in the near future.
The library itself functions significantly different today than it did 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or let alone 95 years ago. And so, in working with our architect, we have designed an addition to our children's department, but we were also given the task of looking at the pre-existing footprint of this building, looking at the existing envelope, and seeing how we could better utilize that envelope to serve the public and to bring the future vision into play.
Thank you to Oxford Public Library for allowing me to attend and film that fireside chat. It was really enlightening on just how much hard work has been put in over generations of library caretakers. I look forward to covering all of the new changes to the library as they come and encourage all of our scholars and parents to check out the Oxford Public Library if they haven't been lately. There are some beautiful pieces on display right now, and there are always ways for students to get involved at the library. Our students are always very involved both in their community and their school spirit. A great example of the high school life and school spirit here in Oxford schools is the Mr. Oxford competition. The competition raises money for charity by pitting Oxford boys against one another through various challenges. I was able to stop by the show and get some footage of the guys taking the stage. Thank you to all of the students who worked on that event and helped orchestrate the charity. I had a great time going out to watch that show. Before we wrap up, there are a few events to keep in mind looking forward. Tuesday the 25th, Lakeville's Super Singers and Checkers clubs will meet, and then on Wednesday, Lakeville's Outstanding Green team will meet. This will be their last meeting of the month, so don't miss it. Something a little farther out in March, the MSBOA Band Festival will be hosted at Oxford High School on the 7th and 8th. That will do it for this week's edition of School News right here on OCTV. Thank you for tuning in, and if you want more of these stories, be sure to check out all of the Schooling Around episodes as they come out right here on OCTV and on our YouTube and Facebook pages. If you have any stories you want to see covered, contact me at river.tuck@gmail.com. As always, for your school news here at OCTV, I'm River Tuck. Until next time, Oxford.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, climate change could spur a 92% increase in new cases of Lyme disease in the U.S. by the end of the century, even if the world manages to limit warming to the commitments of the Paris climate deal. The number of people in the U.S. being infected has been steadily rising in recent years, and there is no human vaccine for this disease, which can lead to lifelong health problems if not treated earlier. So far, the evidence for climate change's influence on ticks that infect humans with Lyme disease has been unclear. Now, Erin Mordecai at the Stanford University in California and her colleagues have looked at past temperatures and rainfall in the U.S. to estimate their impact on Lyme disease cases in the U.S. between 2000 and 2017. The team controlled for other possible drivers, including changes in forest cover and public awareness of tick disease, as measured by online interest through Google Trends. The results were used to model what could happen in the future and suggested that even if the temperature rises are held to 1.8 degrees Celsius below the 2-degree goal of Paris, annual Lyme disease cases will jump by an extra 34,000 by 2100, a 92% increase on levels seen in the past decade. Numbers are expected to significantly climb much earlier. 27,600 extra cases are expected by 2050. These results indicate that substantial future increases in U.S. Lyme disease burden are likely, the team writes. Worryingly, the team says the results are likely to be conservative because they assume no human population growth. When that is factored in, the number of extra future cases nearly doubles. Richard Ostfeld at the Carey Institute of Ecosystem Studies in Millbrook, New York, says the study largely backs up earlier research suggesting that climate change will make Lyme disease incidence worse in the U.S. There are two important caveats, he says. One is that the disease data the team used has been followed by newer, higher estimates, which could make the number of future cases much worse, around 10 times higher nationally. The other is that modeling doesn't consider how people's behavior may change as a result of climate change, such as how much time we spend outdoors and during which season, both of which are key to tick exposure. If how we behave proves a key driver of Lyme disease infections in people, public education could reduce the number of future cases, he says. Be careful. In our next story, 7 date palm trees have been grown from 2,000-year-old seeds that were found in the Judean desert near Jerusalem. The seeds, the oldest ever germinated, were among hundreds discovered in caves and in the ancient palace built by King Herod the Great in the 1st century BC. Sarah Salin at the Louis L. Borick Natural Medicine Research Center in Jerusalem, and her colleagues previously grew a single date palm tree from one of the seeds. The team has now managed to grow a further 6. The ancient seeds were prepared by soaking them in water, adding hormones that encourage germination and rooting, and then planting them in soil in a quarantined area. The team used radioactive carbon dating to reveal the 7 seeds were around 2,000 years old. Genetic analysis showed that several of them came from female date palms that were pollinated by male palms from different areas. This hints that the ancient Judean people who lived in the area at the time and cultivated the trees used sophisticated plant breeding techniques. Historical accounts of the dates that grew from the palms in this region describe their larger size, sweetness, and medicinal properties. The Roman scribe Pliny the Elder, for example, wrote that their outstanding property is the unctuous juice from which they exude an extremely sweet sort of wine flavor like that of honey. Unlike Egyptian dates, they could be stored for a long time, meaning they could be exported throughout the Roman Empire. Salin and her colleagues found that the seeds of the ancient Judean dates are larger than modern varieties, which are often indicative of bigger fruit. They now hope to recreate the ancient fruit by pollinating females with males. Judea's date palm crops started to die out after the region's war with Rome in the 1st and 2nd centuries AD. Salin believes the hot, dry conditions of the Judean desert probably helped to preserve the leftover seeds for so long. Previously, the world's oldest germinated seed was a 1,300-year-old Chinese lotus seed recovered from a dried lake bed in China. In 2012, researchers in Russia grew a flower from a 30,000-year-old fruit tissue recovered from frozen sediment in Siberia. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
What's going on, Wildcat fans? Cody right back here for this week's Sports Report. We got a lot to go over this week. We are getting surprisingly close to the end of our winter season, as you will see. We got some league titles to announce this week. Anyhow, let's take a look, starting off with boys basketball. Last Friday was a good day to be a Wildcat fan here at the Ian Smith Gymnasium as the boys took on Davison, a team that proved to be no match for our club. Trey Townsend had a very great night with an incredible 28 points and 15 rebounds. Robinson followed behind him with 8 points, and senior Michael Houston had a season high of 5. The final score of the night was 54-36. The boys are now 8-6 overall this year and 3-3 in division play. Oxford is currently in 4th place in the OAA White Division. Also, the girls bowling team traveled to 5-star lanes to compete against 29 teams in Oakland County, 2 of which that were top schools in the state. Schools like Lake Orion, Farmington, and Waterford Kettering were there, and that's just to name a few. The competition was very high, and it proved that in the end when the girls brought home the title, a 4-pin victory in the first match, setting them ahead of the rest. Also, Maya Bruno won an individual medal for her top 10 game of 234. The girls had a great week here in Oxford, also as our competitive cheer team captured the OAA White title for the 2nd year in a row. Head coach Elena Weber was also named Coach of the Year for the division. And on a different subject, seniors Ann Cobble and Cassie Darling, both flyers for the Oxford tier team, signed letters of intent to compete next year at a college level. Cobble signing to Alma College and the other signing to Eastern Michigan. So congratulations, girls, to the entire team and to the coaching staff. We're very excited and happy for you guys. And lastly, the wrestling team took home their title for the Oxford High School in the OAA Red Division, placing all 14 weight classes, which is a very impressive feat. The individual champions this year were Jack Thompson, Nathan Call, and Jack Smith. The team's record was 4-1 in the OAA division. Anyhow, that is all for this week's report. For any more info on these events and more, go to oxfordathletics.org. There's plenty of game breakdowns, statistics, and more all right there for you to check out. Once again, that is oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out at occtv.org. All of our coverage of these events and more can be found on our website, which you can find all the access of our games on the YouTube page, also on the website. Once again, that is occtv.org. And that's all for this week's report. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you all to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, when it comes to dealerships in late spring, Volkswagen's freshened 2021 Atlas 3-row crossover will boast sharper exterior styling. But the biggest changes will come in an upgraded infotainment system that picks up some fancy tricks. The freshened crossover, which Volkswagen debuted February 6th at the Chicago Auto Show, features an edgier front facade and updated LED lighting front and rear on all trim levels. The Atlas will be available with a choice of two engines, a 276 horsepower V6 or a 235 horsepower turbocharged inline-4, mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. All-wheel drive is optional with either powertrain. Inside, the new 3-row crossover CarNet infotainment system features many upgrades, including new app-based functionalities such as the ability to use the vehicle as a safe place to receive and store delivered packages. The infotainment system allows remote access to the vehicle via smartphone, enabling users to turn the engine on or off, lock or unlock the doors, honk the horn, and flash the lights. The app also shows the vehicle's location when parked and can provide remote information on fuel level, odometer reading, and whether the doors and windows are open or closed. The CarNet system will allow consumers to contract directly with their mobile carrier to add 4G LTE service to their vehicle through their data plan, much as they might add another smartphone. Doing so enables the vehicle to serve as a mobile hotspot, and it eventually will allow streaming infotainment into the vehicle. Volkswagen will also enable customers to enroll in a driving monitor program to potentially save money on insurance. The Drive View feature, similar to programs operated by many insurance carriers that use dongles attached to a vehicle's OBD2 port, passively tracks hard braking, excess speed, night driving, and other risk factors to create an overall driving score that is visible through the mobile app. That score can be used to secure potentially lower insurance rates through the app. Customers must actively choose to participate in the monitoring, and driving score information is not transmitted from those who don't opt in. In terms of added safety, the 2021 Atlas will feature new driver assistance features, including traffic jam assist, which uses lane keeping and adaptive cruise control to aid drivers during low-speed, heavy traffic situations. And on the recall front, Hyundai Motor America is recalling nearly 430,000 vehicles in the U.S. because moisture can get into the anti-lock braking module, resulting in an electrical short and possible engine compartment fire. The recall covers 2006 to 2011 Hyundai Elantra and 2007 to 2011 Hyundai Elantra touring vehicles. The automaker did not release a global number of vehicles involved. Hyundai issued a letter to NHTSA on February 6 acknowledging the safety defect. Hyundai has not been able to identify a discernible trend relating to a defect or manufacturing defect that is causing the moisture intrusion, however, according to a NHTSA document. To fix the problem, dealers will install a relay in the affected vehicle's main junction box to prevent the risk of an ABS short circuit while the car is turned off. Owners will be notified of the recall starting April 3rd. So far, at least 3 Elantra vehicles have had engine compartment fires that may be related to the ABS module. And over at Ford Motor Company is recalling more than 200,000 vehicles in the United States, Canada, and Mexico because of a problem that can cause a rear toe link fracture while driving and may increase the risk of a crash. The recall covers 2013 to 2018 Ford Flex, Ford Taurus, Police Interceptor, Ford Taurus SHO, and Lincoln MKT vehicles. This affects 211,207 vehicles in the U.S. and federal territories, 15,281 in Canada, and about 1,400 in Mexico. Globally, Ford said it's recalling about 230 vehicles in Europe, 4 in Asia, 1 in South America, and almost 14,000 in emerging markets. Affected vehicles that are exposed to frequent full rear suspension articulation, that's jounce and rebound, may experience a fractured rear suspension toe link, Ford said in a statement on February 12th. That can result in unusual vehicle handling or difficulty controlling the vehicle, Ford spokeswoman Monique Brentley told Automotive News. To fix the problem, dealers will replace the left and right-hand rear suspension toe links with new forged toe links. Owners will be notified March 2nd, Brentley said. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways.